Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over Spawn for Spawn Sundays, and we actually pick up with Curse of Spawn, number 15 and number 16. This is a two-part storyline that introduces a new character, and that character will be Abdiel, an angel. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Curse of Spawn, remember, it is a spin-off series that was given to us in the mid-90s as a way to introduce new characters into the world of Spawn comics. And sometimes they would kind of fill in plot holes that we saw in the earlier main series Spawn comics. Either way, when it comes to Curse of Spawn, like I said, it was used to introduce new characters, and sometimes those new characters will become, well, Hellspawns or something different down the road. Now, when it comes to Abdiel, he is an angel, very similar to, well, Angela. And when it comes to Abdiel, he's going to be somewhat important to the origin of Al Simmons. And so getting into today's storyline, we do pick up at a bar better known as the Badlands Saloon and Grill. Now, when it comes to the Badlands, it's in one specific area of the universe. It's actually hard to get to that specific area in the universe. Now, with that being said, though, the only way to get there, if you are some kind of pantheon, you know, a god or devil, demon or angel. And the thing is, it's all gods and devils from across the universe. Not just, the usual God, but other gods from different religions across the universe are able to get there to just have a drink and relax. Now, here's the thing, because we do pick up with a character known as Poacher. Poacher is the one who owns the bar, but at the same time, he's kind of like, he loves working there, but at the same time, he hates working there. And the reason why, because you have a lot of newbies come in there and try to order the toughest drink, thinking they're that great as other gods or other angels and demons across the universe, when they're just kind of like the rookie level god. Either way, while you have Poacher currently there at the bar just minding his business and working, that is when you have a new kind of pantheon walk in and ask for the toughest drink at the bar. Now, when he does, at first, Poacher says no, the drink is too strong for newbies. But again, he feels like he's very confident that he'll be able to handle the drink. Now, the newbie also sees a chest plate. Now, here's the thing. This chest plate comes from heaven, and so it's only given to angels. And this is where you have Poacher say, let me tell you the story about one specific angel. And this was the angel that used to do God's work left and right. And that would be Abdiel. Now, the first few pages, we do learn a little bit more about Abdiel. And when it comes to Abdiel, he was actually the first angel. You heard that right. The first angel that God had brought in. Now, when it came to Abdiel, he was technically used as a way to be God's wrath, to go across the universe to show the universe that if God is angry with you, he would send Abdiel to handle you. As a matter of fact, when it came to Abdiel, he destroyed an entire solar system. Yeah, you heard that right. Killing off billions of people because God said so. Now, after doing that, we learned that Abdiel, well, this man hated waiting to go to hell. And what I mean by that is 8 years ago, right after he had destroyed that solar system, Homeboy wanted to go to hell and do some serious damage to the demons down there and the devils as well. And the reason why? Because he feels like it's annoying to just wait for hell to make the first move. They always make the first move, and then the angels got to go out there to fight against the demons. He got tired of that. And so he felt like he is strong enough to go down to hell and kill off any kind of demon if he wanted to. But again, not allowed to. You can only go down there if God says so. If God says no, then homeboy, you can't go. Now, we also kind of find out how Poacher and Abdiel became friends. And what I mean by that is, remember, Poacher knows a lot about Abdiel. And for some reason, in Poacher's bar, he has Abdiel's chest plate. And we come to find out that after Abdiel had destroyed that entire solar system, he came to the Badlands where he was able to build a bond with Poacher. Now, after doing that, that was when Well, Abdiel got a call from the general of the army of angels, I'm guessing, and that would be General Charrier. Either way, when it comes to the general, he does have a new mission that Abdiel will like at first, but then begin to hate the mission. And what I mean by that is, once you have Abdiel arrive, you have the general tell Abdiel, okay, your next mission is to go to hell, which we already knew that Abdiel wanted to do, except you have the general say, no, when you're going to hell this time, you're not going down there to wreak havoc. Instead, what you're going to do is go down there and go undercover. We need you to gather information about the ruler of hell, and that would be Malbolgia. Now, guys, remember, this takes place 8 years ago, and there's a good reason why I'm saying the years right now. Matter of fact, I'm about to tell you here in a second or two. But when it comes to the general, he does tell Abdiel the reason why they need him to go down there to gather information, because sooner or later, when it comes to Malbolgia, well, he is going to gain a soul. And this soul is apparently going to be very powerful for the army of hell. And so it's up to Abdiel to be down there undercover to kind of get close to Malbolgia and to make sure that he is not able to get the soul. And the reason why? Because that soul is Al Simmons, of course, being Spawn. And so right now, it's the general saying, when time comes, you have to make sure Malbolgia does not get his hands on that soul, because if you do, it will be a huge blow for Hell's army, but a huge win for Heaven's army. So yeah, make sure you stay undercover, work close to him, and when time is right, make sure he cannot get his hands on that soul. Now, once you have Abdiel actually arrive in hell, we kind of find out that his status has changed. And what I mean by that is he's no longer known as an angel. Matter of fact, he's now known as a fallen angel, kind of like the devil. Either way, he still has some powers, just not all of his powers. Either way, he's now in hell. Now, as soon as he arrives, of course, you have all these different kind of demonic beings wanting to prove something. There's new blood in hell, and they want to see how strong this new blood is, but also find a way to actually kill off, well, the new blood. Now, with that being said, though, you have Abdiel show how powerful he still is, even though he's now a fallen angel. But on top of that, he does meet some other people in hell, like Smuggler. Now, when it comes to Smuggler, he's kind of like your usual guide in hell, but he does tell Abdiel that he'll kind of help him find Malbolgia. Now again, while you have Smuggler and Abdiel kind of walk around hell, you still have all these different kind of demons who are trying to prove something. Like, oh my gosh, a fallen angel is in hell. This is the perfect chance to show how powerful we truly are. And matter of fact, he does run into, well, Lilith. Now, this is Lilith of the 8th circle. Now, there's a huge reason why I'm saying like that. And the reason why, because remember, when it comes to hell, there are many circles in hell. And so we're left to believe that she is only the Lilith of this hell, this circle. And so that means there could be other Liliths in other circles across hell. Again, we have no idea yet. But either way, when it comes to her, she's kind of like, hey, I'm a very powerful demon here in this 8th circle. And I feel like with your power and my brains, we will be able to go ahead and take over this part of hell. Now that's her goal, to remove Malbolgia and become the new ruler of this specific area in hell. Now when it comes to Abdiel, that is not his goal. His goal is to not fall in love with some kind of demon. His goal is not to basically rule hell. His goal is to get close to Malbolgia and try to figure out what the man is actually up to when it comes to Al Simmons, the next soul that he is about to gain. And so when it comes to Abdiel, he tells homegirl, sorry, I'm not here for you, and moves her out of the way. Now, she does not like that, and she begins to try to battle him. But again, when it comes to Abdiel, he is just a fallen angel and still has a lot of power. And so homeboy was able to get rid of homegirl so fast, it's all like, dang. But the thing is though, you cannot kill off a demon nor angel that easily. There is another step you have to take after you supposedly had killed off a demon or angel. But on top of that, with them being in hell, that demon, Lilith, will just come back to life either way. But you did have Abdiel finally being able to meet the person that he has been looking for. And that's when he meets, well, Malebolgia. Now, I felt like when it comes to Abdiel, he did a horrible job as an undercover angel. And the reason why, because as soon as boy arrived in hell as a fallen angel, he began to go around and saying, hey, I am looking for Malebolgia. Where is Malebolgia? Like, I'm looking for him. It's kind of weird for a random angel to arrive in hell and be like, I want to meet the ruler of hell. Just like that. Like, it kind of rings red flags in the air. Like, hey, I think you're, an undercover angel. Either way, you have Malebolgia there like, I heard that you were looking for me. Now, when we jump into the next chapter of the story arc, we do pick up with Abdiel kind of being like the second in charge of this area, or a very high ranking officer. And the reason why, because we do pick up with another Hellspawn currently arguing with Violator. Now, while you have the two going back and forth, as soon as Abdiel walks by, our two other characters freak out like no other. They're like, oh my gosh, there goes Abdiel, this powerful fallen angel. If we don't walk away, homeboy is going to beat us down. And it kind of shows that in the last few months, since the last chapter to this chapter, Abdiel have moved up the rankings when it comes to Malebolgia's army. Now, you do have Abdiel get a call from, well, Malebolgia. And when he does, this really shows that Malebolgia knows that there's something up when it comes to Abdiel. And what I mean by that is, even though Abdiel says he is a fallen angel, Malebolgia does not believe that story all the way. He believes that Abdiel could possibly be an undercover angel, which honestly, he is. But the thing is, Malebolgia does not want to claim that unless he has all the proof to basically say it. And so he begins to question Abdiel, to ask him about his past. And that's the thing right there, because usually when you go undercover, you get an undercover story to say you're somebody else and this is your past, as a way to protect your real identity. When it comes to Abdiel, they didn't do that. They went ahead and said, boop, go to hell. Have a good time and good luck. And the thing is, now it is Malebolgia questioning his story. Like, okay, so tell me about your past life before you became an angel, before you fell as an angel. Like, tell me everything about you. And when it comes to Abdiel, he's kind of just saying random facts. But the thing is, those facts have to line up with one another just good enough to kind of get past this conversation. But that's the problem, because now it's Malebolgia trying to figure out if he can actually trust Abdiel. Now, as he leaves Malebolgia's throne room, he's then pulled back over to where the general is, the general for the forces of heaven. Now, once he does arrive back there, you didn't have the general say, listen very closely, Abdiel. The soul that Malebolgia wants to get is coming very soon. And remember, that soul is, well, Alcimus. Of course, that means this is the moment, or leading into the moment, where Alcimus becomes, well, Spawn. Now, with that being said, he's kind of like, just continue to do your job as an undercover angel. But the problem is, though, it's now Malebolgia beginning to worry about Abdiel. And sooner or later, that could affect him down the road. And so you have Abdiel stop by the saloon, the Badlands Saloon. Now, when he does, it's really more of Abdiel leaving his chest plate behind. And honestly, it's not that important. What really is more important, what happens right after he does drop off his chest plate at the bar. And what I mean by that is once he does arrive back to, well, hell, Malbolgia's area, he begins to find out that Malbolgia is about to get a brand new soul. That brand new soul is Al Simmons. And so this is Malbolgia saying, okay, it's time for me to make my next hellspawn, which also means that it's time for Abdiel to get ready to kill off Malbolgia or to do harm so that he is unable to get the soul that he wants to get so bad. The problem is, though, once you have Abdiel in position to do some damage to Malbolgia to prevent him from getting that soul, Al Simmons' soul, you didn't have a command come in to Abdiel saying, back off. Do not kill off Malbolgia. Do not go ahead and try to attack Malbolgia. Now, this is crazy because the entire time that Abdiel had been in hell, his goal was to lead up to this moment right here, to kill off Malbolgia or to do harm in a way so that he will not be able to grab the soul of Al Simmons. But now he's being told to abort mission and get your butt back over here to heaven now. It is kind of like, why? And this kind of shows that God realized that he could use Al Simmons as a hellspawn in some kind of way to hurt Malbolgia. The thing is, though, we still have no idea how or why. Either way, when it comes to Abdiel, he has to go back to heaven. Now, you have Abdiel go back over to the general to figure out why in the world was he told not to kill off Malbolgia. Why was he told to abort the mission? Now, here's the thing. He does not want to talk to the general. He wants to talk to God himself. And that is going to lead to his downfall. And what I mean by that is because you do have Abdiel make his way over to a room where he is able to talk to God. Except when he does get to God, he made the one biggest mistake you could do when it comes to, well, God. And that is questioning God's decision. If God said do this, you better do it. If you don't do it, you get punished. And so when it comes to Abdiel, homeboy went over to God and began to question God about the whole idea of not killing off Malbolgia. Why was he told to abort? And he begins to say, haven't I done a lot of work for you? Haven't I been a great angel for you? I've been doing your work. Why are you doing this to me? But because he questioned God, God sends him back down to hell. Now, once you have Abdiel make it back down to hell, he is confronted by, well, Malbolgia. And this is Malbolgia saying, oh, look, my plan worked. And what he means by that is Malbolgia planted seeds in the mind of Abdiel to the point where he knew that sooner or later, Abdiel will begin to have doubts about God's work, God's decision. And that right there is a problem. You don't question God. You don't doubt God. But if you do, this is your punishment. But thanks to basically Malbolgia in their earlier conversation, he planted the seeds in the mind of Abdiel, which led to Abdiel to get punished for doubting God's decision, for basically getting upset with God's decision when it came to not killing off Malbolgia or try to stop Malbolgia from getting Al Simmons. And so now, when it comes to Abdiel, he is truly a fallen angel. But on top of that, he's now part of Malbolgia's army. And so getting back over to the present day, we pick up Poacher kind of continuing to tell the story of Abdiel and what happened to Abdiel. And then that is the moment you have Abdiel walk into the bar, of course, the Badlands bar. When he does walk in, this shows the newbie that the story that Poacher told is true. That there was an angel, the first angel of God, that was a fallen angel. And now he's part of the army of Malbolgia. Now, here's the thing. We don't learn anything else about Abdiel after this storyline. He's, again, one of those characters that was introduced in Spawn Comics, but just left out there for hopefully somebody else to use, but nobody ever did. So unfortunately, we'll never see Abdiel ever again. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.